Before we get into this episode of the Ultimate Beginner Guide, I want to just say how humbled I am at the amount of support, not really the views, but really the likes and the comments that the first few videos have received so far. It hasn't even been 10 hours since my, first actual episode of this Ultimate Guide, and I've had tens and twenties of comments saying how much people appreciate this guide. I'm recording this at a time where there is a lot of instability in the game's development and future, and many people are jumping ship because of that. The player retention is very low due to the lack of solid onboarding, and that's kind of what this guide is here for, just to teach you how to start playing the game and how to not run away because it's super scary. There's a lot of stuff, but I'm here to hold your hand through the hardest part of it, and once you start playing this game, I'm sure you'll fall in love with it just like I did, even in this version. I always love teaching people because I believe that knowledge is the greatest gift, and it's purely a passion project of mine to make videos like this for you guys, especially if they are helpful and enjoyable. I will continue to make videos for Paragon until I physically can't anymore, whether it's because of my passion to pursue my medical career and become a doctor like I always dreamed of being, or because Epic decides to take the pussy way out of the situation and scrap something that they have been working on for 2 years. I will continue making videos because I believe in the future of this game, and I believe in the multitudes of happiness that it can bring to newcomers to the game, just like it brought me so much joy back in March 2016. We have to remain positive and be that positive community that invites others to come together and support the developers even when they don't believe in their own game, because I do. Thank you for calling me the #Paragon Savior. I kind of like that name. But really, we are all in it together. So let's band together and #save Paragon and enjoy it for all it's worth. Hello, you beautiful people out there. What is going on? This is your friend Brady coming to you fast with the episode 2 of the Paragon Ultimate Beginner Guide. And today we're going to be talking about Paragon's itemization system, which consists of affinities, attribute points, and cards. And all of those things come together to make decks, which you take with you into battle. Instead of other MOBAs where you all have the same exact general item shop, you basically create your own item shop before going into the game, adding a little bit more flavor and customization to your playstyle and a bit more variability to the game in general. So we're going to talk about all of those building blocks that make up everything and the whole item system in this game. Now, before we talk about that, let's revisit last hitting like I talked about in the last video. When you last hit these little minions, like you see right here when their health bar goes red and you kill them, you will get 75 gold. If you don't, you will only get 45 gold, so it's very important. The fat minions in the back give you 125 when you last hit them and only 75 when you don't. And I think the blasters even give you a little bit more. I think they give you 105 when you last hit them or something like that. But that's not really too important. The most important thing about that, why I bring up gold, is because you spend it on attribute points. Each attribute point costs 1,000 gold. As you guys are going to see me accumulate 1,000 gold a little bit later, I will slot it in. And this is your item shop. This is your menu. As you see, I drag and drop a card over into my inventory, and you see a bunch of points fly away to the right. Now, when I remove a card, you see a point fly back to the left. This is basically how this works. Attribute points are used when you basically borrow cards, but the bonuses that you receive up to that point do not go away. As you see, the half circle is still highlighted. Now, there are 3 sections. There are agility, vitality, and intellect, where you can spend your attribute points. Agility focuses on giving you attack speed and basic armor. Vitality focuses on giving you health points and health regen, and intellect focuses on giving you mana and mana regen. So obviously, if you want to be doing a lot of damage, you're going to be focusing agility. If you want to be a tank like my hero Kwong is right here, you're going to be focusing a lot into vitality. And if you're a mage or a mid laner who needs a lot of mana for their abilities, you're going to be focusing a lot into intellect. And that's basically the whole system. It's actually really simple once you get used to it. It just seems really confusing on the surface, but really it's not that bad. Let's say you have a point, or a card rather, that costs 3 vitality points. First, you need 3,000 gold total to get those 3 vitality points, and then you can equip that card by trading, so to speak, those 3 points. But when you trade those points, like I said, it's not like you lose the benefits that you gain from them. It's kind of like a placeholder instead. And that's basically how you want to look at it. So do not worry. You also have these things called gems, which you guys saw in the half circles. If you want, you can rewind them, but we're going to go back and revisit and rebuild the whole deck from the ground up so you guys can see it zoomed up. Gems are things that are automatically granted to you once you get to a certain amount of attribute points in a certain category. Gems are things that you equip just like cards and just like when you're making a deck beforehand, and you can have a total of 6. They don't have to be in order, but yeah, you can skip all around, but it's better to have them a little bit in order, as you guys seen right there. Once you put an attribute point into the slot where the gem resides, that gem's bonus will automatically activate, and you will get stronger because of that just a little bit. Now, there are 5 affinities for these cards, basically 5 categories of cards: growth, knowledge, order, death, and chaos. They each have their own preferred bonuses. For example, growth has a lot of bonuses that have to do with sustainability, armor, health regen, whereas chaos has a lot to do with attack speed and damage and stuff like that. Each one of these categories or affinities have their own special unique bonuses, such as growth has cultivate bonuses on their cards sometimes, which basically means that the more gold you spend, the cheaper the card becomes to buy. So the longer you wait, the better it is to buy, but at the same time, the earlier you buy it, the stronger it can get by using the ability over and over again. Knowledge basically has a lot of consumable cards where it's a one-time use. You buy it, you use it, it disappears from your inventory, you're going to have to buy it again later. Order has these cards, some of these cards, not every single one of these cards has these special abilities, but some of them do. Order cards have these elevate abilities, where if this is the only card you have equipped, you will gain the bonus you see below the elevate word on top of the bonus you see above it, the passive bonus. Many of the cards are also passive and active simultaneously, which means you can activate their active ability by pressing a button, or you just have the passive chill in there. You can have both. Now with death cards, you have the cursed ability, where once you equip the card, you cannot then unequip it, because you can do that. Let's say you get a card later, you equip it, but then you don't like it, you want to switch it out, you can unequip it and trade it. Cursed cards, you can't do that. And combustible cards are unique to the chaos category, whereas if you die while that card is equipped, it will go away and you will have to repurchase it. So those are usually very high risk, high reward cards. So those are very useful things to know. Now, it seems like there's a lot of gems here in the category. That's because I've been playing this game for a lot and I've collected a lot of the different gems, but mostly this only counts for bots, PvE. That's the only time you should really worry about so many gems. In PvP, you have 3 gems for each tier level of each category. So there are 5 tiers of gems in each of the 3 categories: agility, vitality, and intellect. Obviously, as you increase in tier, they get stronger and have better and more useful abilities, and you get to organize them yourself when you're building a deck. So you go over to the deck builder, you build new, and you start with the affinities. You can have 2 affinities, so you get to choose out of these affinities how you want to build it. We're going to be building a tanky jungler deck here in this video. Okay, so you guys are going to see the process of building a tanky jungler, and we're going to be talking about how that goes. I'm just going to walk you through it. So again, for those of you who missed it, points, you put points into either agility, vitality, or intellect, one of the 3 attributes. While you're doing this, you have these gems slotted, and once the points reach either 1, 7, 13, 19, or 25, because those are the 5 different tier levels, the gems will automatically activate, and then you can trade these points in for cards. Now, in the top left of each card, you're going to notice a number and a symbol next to the card, and that is its cost. The cheapest cards are at the top. The most expensive cards are at the bottom by default, unless you change the search engine. And they have a symbol. So the sword, the orange sword is agility, the green heart is vitality, and the purple lightning bolt is intellect. Now you want to make your decks evenly across the board, across the game flow. So you want to have early game cards that are cheap. You want to have mid game cards that are going to be useful for a variety of different situations, and you want to have late game cards that are expensive just in case the game goes on for a very long time. Now, obviously, the more expensive the card, the better the stats are going to be, and a lot of these cards have passive stats, and then they also have actives to them. For example, that 4th card from the left, Flame of Zetchin, has an active ability to it, but it's also a cultivate. So I could wait and get that thing later, or I can get it earlier and start using the ability earlier on in the game. It's up to you. It's a risk-reward type system, however you want to choose it. But have a good balance of early game, mid game, and late game. I would recommend about 5 mid game cards, about 4 late game cards, and about 3 early game cards. Somewhere around there. What you guys are seeing me do here now is equip these gems. So like I said, really, you're seeing a lot of auto shields, a lot of onslaught gems. Really, there's no difference in those. Just pick one that says onslaught, one that says auto shield, or one that says auto mana potion. For example, that's the tier 1 intellect gem. Now, like I said, you can spread them out all over the place if you want. Starting with the tier 3 gems, though, you got to be careful because they each have their own passive bonus. That one that I just equipped right there gives me bonus attack speed. So don't just look at the names once you get to the tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 gems because they do have their passive bonuses to them. So if you want to be tankier, make sure you equip the ones that give you more armor. If you want to do more damage, make sure you equip the ones that give you more attack speed, so on and so forth, etc., etc. So be very careful. Don't just rush through it. Building a deck is pretty much half the battle. It's halfway to winning. So building decks, knowing how to build decks, and understanding all very, very important things. And of course, I will be making a bunch of specific decks for specific heroes and roles and stuff like that. But right now, for the beginner guide, this is generally just explaining the whole process and giving you a few tips and tricks along the way. Like I said, you can skip gems, as you guys are seeing right here. Sometimes it's a good thing to do if you don't like any of the abilities of the tier gem that you have there. Like I don't like any of the tier 3 vitality gems. You can skip it, and if you think that games are going to go on for a long while, then you can go to the tier 6, or rather the tier 5 gem. I don't know, tier 6 gem, that would be OP, tier 5 gem. But you don't want to have too many tier 5 gems. You really want to kind of weigh it over to the earlier side of the game. You want to have more gems that will give you more bonuses earlier on than later on. Just like you guys saw me do there, I will put one in agility and one in intellect as well. And that's basically how you work with attribute points, gems, and cards. If this was helpful, if you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, make sure to have a wonderful day.